What's up, everybody? It's Dan Greer with Forge. Today I'm coming at you to talk all about how your circle that you choose shapes you. So you need to be intentional about who you choose. This is your 5-minute pep talk. Let's get down and dirty, ready to go. Okay, so here's the thing you got to remember, and this is so huge, and I want you to just know this, is that the people you surround yourself with are going to be who either drag you down or pull you up, right? Have you ever all heard the story of the crabs in the bucket, right? I have no idea where this comes from. I know I've heard it from like 18 different people, so I'm not going to drop any names about where it came from, but like there's this old fisherman, he's walking around Maine, all right, and he's got a bucket full of crabs. And as he's walking around with this bucket full of crabs, he just keeps picking them up and throwing them in the bucket. And this little kid comes up to him, he's like, "Mister, why don't you put a lid on your bucket so the crabs don't get out?" And while they're sitting there talking for a couple minutes as to what's going on, the guy goes, "Look in the bucket. Do you see any crabs escaping?" And the kid goes, "No." "Why aren't they escaping? There's no lid. They could just help each other out and they could create a chain and grab onto each other's claws and they could all be out." And the guy goes, "Yeah, that's totally 100% right. But what happens is when one crab gets close to the top, another one grabs him and yanks him back down. That's why I don't need a lid on my bucket, because people are just like crabs. And as soon as they get close to the top of the bucket, as soon as they get close to the next level, the people they've surrounded themselves with all the time reach up and go like, "You don't need to be up there. What you doing growing yourself? What you doing taking that new role? What you doing trying to learn this new stuff? Why are you writing a book? Why are you making a podcast? Why are you doing this? You know, if you put yourself out there, people are going to stomp on you. You know, if you do this, or you do this, or you do this," right? People don't realize it. They're playing the devil's advocate. Hate that word, by the way. But they're trying to be something to help you. And so they go, "Oh, don't fail. If you don't put yourself out there, you'll never have to worry about failing." Yeah, but if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to excel. You're never going to go to that next level. You're never going to take that position. You're never going to push yourself into that next level. Right? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm coming from here? Your circle needs to be very intentional about the people you put yourself around. And it should be people who are going to lift you up, right? Not people who are going to drag you down. Jim Rohn always said that you are the sum of the people you surround yourself with. And I'm going to take that a little bit deeper. And I say you're the sum of the 5 people that you are the closest to. And if those people are constantly dragging you down, if you're constantly trying to lift them up, to better them, to get them to the next level, and they just keep going, "No, no, no, I don't want to go," they just dig their feet in the ground, then you need to change your circle. And sometimes that's tough, okay? Sometimes it's really hard to do that, to change your circle. Sometimes you spent your whole life around these people. And I'm not telling you to boot them out. I'm not telling you to not be around them. What I'm telling you is to look at who's around you the most and who you spend the most time with. And maybe it's as simple as on Saturday, instead of you going out and you hanging out with Jolene, right? I use Joe all the time, so I used a girl's name. Did you catch that? Jolene, who's constantly dragging you down. You go out and you hang out with Jennifer, who's lifting you up, right? You just stop spending every Saturday with the people who drag you down. You start spending more time with the people who are going to empower you, who are going to help you go to the next level. The people who want to grow, who want to see you grow, right? The people who are constantly coming at you telling you the worst of the worst of the worst. "Oh, don't go near the ocean. There might be a tsunami. If the water goes out really fast, you get inland as fast as you can because there's going to be a tsunami." Right? "Oh, don't go to the tornado alley in the summer. Don't go to Florida in the hurricane season." Right? "Don't get in the water at the ocean. There's sharks in there." If you surround yourself with people like that, what happens? What happens? You don't want to be around them. You almost shut this podcast off 2 seconds ago because you're like, "Man, what the heck is this guy doing? I don't want to be around that crap. This guy's here to empower me, to lift me up." So here's the thing. Iron sharpens iron. Right? When you're going to be forged, when you're going to grow, you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You got to be around people who are going to sharpen you, and that's your circle. Okay? And you got to build that circle intentionally. And you got to be careful who's in your circle. And I'm not telling you to edge people out. What I'm telling you is to talk to them. "Hey, dude, I don't like devil's advocates. I don't need that. I need somebody who's positive. Hey, I don't need somebody to tear down every idea. I do that shit in my own head enough. stuff. I do that stuff in my own head enough. Right? You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? Cool. That's it. Build your circle intentionally. There's your 5 minutes. Here's my call. Who's in your circle and how are you going to change it today? All right. Catch you guys later.